Hello, I'm back with a Real Racing 3 tutorial. Today I wanted to talk to you about customizing or putting designs in your car when you do not have a lot of money and you don't get a lot of gold coins to upgrade your car very quickly. I'm going to show you some of the things I did until I started getting promoted. As you see right now, I'm level 522, working towards 523. I had stopped playing for a while once I hit 500, so now I come back and I play Real Racing 3 occasionally as I've been practicing being a no assist driver. So first, let me show you some of the designs that I've done. I'll show you 6 designs I've done. The theme is airlines. The first one is this All Nippon Airways theme. Here I have one that's designed after the Dreamliner 787. This call sign here, November 7876, is a real plane. Then I have a Airbus 321 Neo. And again, that's a real plane. And the 737. And I love putting airplane liveries on cars. I just did 3 here. I'll show you these last 3 before I show you what I wanted to talk to you about. This is a Japan Airlines courtesy car, Lexus. And to show you something like, I used to be real sticky about trying to get these logos perfect, and it's not always easy to do that. So if you look at this left side, spin the plane around, can you see the differences? These 2 logos are separately done. Only thing I put on mirrored were the 2 circles that formed the base for the design. After that, I just freehanded everything. So let me show you. Go down here to where I began. And I blocked the car in white and then cleaned it up. But here's the thing. This is the only thing that's mirrored. And then after that, that's the first lay down, second lay down. After that, everything's freehand. And as I was finishing up, I wasn't caring if this side matched that side. So if you look on the right side of this bird's neck, you'll see it slim here. And come to the other side, it's a little fat. That doesn't matter. And you know, sometimes like if I notice, like for example, this I in airlines might be a little off, I'll come in and fix that. But other than that, it's just the spirit of the car and the design. The next one is TAM. This is a Brazilian airline. Notice the green and yellow trim next to the red back. Again, this is a real plane. I think it's an A340-600. And this on the door, that's the engine logo. And this magic red carpet is right off the plane. Now the plane did not have the Brazilian flag on it. I just felt like it was something I wanted to add in to, so in case people saw this car on a video, they would see that flag. This one I just did today. It's an American Airlines livery. I'm going to show you a flaw on here. If you look at the RX-7 license plate, and you'll see this red has bled through. And I could have fixed that, but I didn't because I ran out of vinyls. As you know, that happens, and I can live with that little bleed through. And the other thing is, if you look at this right passenger side profile, the red and blue stripings are nowhere near what they are on the plane. It's just the spirit of it. This is is designed in the spirit of a 777-200 extended range. That's the call sign off that plane. And one of the things I was trying to make sure I got close was this eagle head. So if you look at it, it looks three-dimensional. Let me show you some of the things I did to build it. I'm going to show you the complete. It's right here, starting there. These are the panels that I used to build it. Oops, moved one. That's okay. All right, and the thing is, what I really wanted to get that close because I wanted that eagle head to stand off of the car, and I think I achieved it. And one trick I used when I did my final cut to make the design complete, normally one of the things you have to be careful of when designing in Real Racing 3 is that you can get a lot of bleed over from the side of the car to the top, and you'll notice that the eagle head emblem, it bleeds over. I think I just moved one of my panels. Yeah, right there. I put it back. It bleeds over, but what that does with this particular bleed over, it helps this blue on the eagle head emblem to fade out. But what I did at the end for the red and blue, for the blue stripes in the back and this eagle head emblem in the front, I used this logo. I'll lighten it up, change it color so you can see it. And I used it to cut down both the blue stripes in the back and the top of the eagle head emblem in the front because they were both a little long. I can show you. I'll just lift it up. You see that? And so to finish the car, this was the last thing I laid down. What I typically do, I'll turn this a red so I can see it. I'll bring it down, and once it's covering the part that I need it to cover, like so, I'll cut it like that and turn it the color of the car, and there. And that's good for me right there. So those are some logos that I've, some customizations I've done where I put the livery of planes on the cars. So let's go ahead and talk about what you can do if you do not have a bunch of gold coins. The thing with Real Racing 3 is that everybody gets basic vinyls. So let me see if I have in here one of my cars that I started to do a basic vinyl design. Yeah, this S2000. It's right here. I started it, but I wanted to get some other things done. So everybody gets the basics right here. With these 4 designs, you can make magic happen just by using different colorings, and you can fade out because these colors like this, let's leave that one red and then bring another one on top. And you remember, you get 50 of these, so you can do all sorts of things with these vinyls to make different things happen, to make different effects. And of course I'm not going to leave that there. It's just to show you that you can make stuff happen. You can put different stripings on cars. So let's go to some pictures I'll go over with you. The first car I'm going to show you, this Porsche Cayman. This was the first car I ever did a design on. It's real contemporary art. And I think at the time there was a DC Comics movie out featuring Harlequin, and I wanted to do a car that was in the spirit of that superhero. And so you see the skull I have here on the side with the gunshot in the head, and I put that on both sides, but different types of drip. And you'll notice on the front of the car there's lips. And if you were to look at a front profile of this car, you would see the black. It looks like black eye makeup, so it looks like 2 big black eyes staring at you. But this car is really way overdone. But I've never changed it. I've had this like this since the game came out. is the first car I ever did, and I wanted to keep it to remind me of how terrible a job I did. And the next car I did, this is supposed to be the Texas state flag, a modification of it. So if you go look at the Texas state flag and then come back and look at this car, you'll see the inspiration. The only thing is I got a little carried away with the stars and whatnot. I used to live in Texas, and I wanted to do a car that was in the spirit of it. So once I started getting a little more refined with my designs, I did more designs where I had all the panels available to me, but I wanted to get back to doing designs with just basic vinyls, and this is one. I made a number 10, just basic vinyls. Now, this emblem on the hood, I probably could have done without, but it's in the color scheme for the rest of the car. And here's another car that I just did recently, this 911 GT1. It's all black with pink highlights. This is all, again, basic vinyls. This is another car I did. You see it has a German flag on the side? This emblem that's on the side of the car door doesn't mean anything. It's just there. Now with the 911 Carrera, you know, when you have a Porsche with basic vinyls, you get Porsche emblems. So what I did is I put a black 911 Carrera S down, and then I shifted over a white one on top of it to make it three-dimensional. And this German flag is done with squares. A black one laid down first, and the red, then a yellow, then a green to cut it. And it looks just like, and I put the green and the yellow on the inside. I left a little black on the edges to make that thing, lift up off the car. Even the striping that's done on the rocker panel here, I guess that's what you call it, that's all done with squares. And the striping on the hood, this again is squares. And remember, this emblem that's on the car, this circle and this one-ish looking thing, they mean nothing. It's just there to add to the race effect. And this, and again, on the top of the roof, I doubled up the 911 Carrera with two gold 911 Carreras to make it pop a little more. And that's all basic vinyls. This car here, again, this 918 Spider, this is all basic vinyls. And so what I did, I made a 7. I used 4 918 Spider emblems to lift that emblem on the side off the car to make it look three-dimensional. You can see here the effect of it on this side. It's 2 green ones, a dark green one, and then a black one laid on top of it to make it look three-dimensional. And this color scheme with the striping and the words and the 7, they match the interior of the car. And that's all basic vinyls. And all these on the back of the car, you see I made a little hatch with a handle, and I put exhaust pipes on the car. They're not on the real car. I just put them on there for the effect. This one didn't take a lot of effort. I just put a bunch of triangles down to give it the contemporary feel of motion. You can see it the best on that. And those are all that is triangles. Just one laid down after another to get that effect. And you can barely see it on this side. All right, so let's go in to the system here, and again, I tell you what, let's look up at a Porsche. And is this one? No, that's my Fanta. Let's go ahead and look at this one. All right, so there, because I don't want you to think I'm making this up. And here's the basics. 50 basic panels. That's it. And I looked the car over when it was just completely plain. And the first thing I did was I blacked it out here. I used the black from the vinyls because the black from the vinyls is darker than the black on the paint. And plus I didn't want to spend money, as you see here. The only thing I have is the official, and that is really, none of these I have. I want to show you, I haven't paid for any of these. And the next one is Kenny. There's no black in there. And you'll see it'll revert back. The rims are the official rims. You can see that they're the Porsche rims right there. And here's a close-up so you can see. I'll go back and let's go back and look at this, how I built up this 918 Spider to make it stand off. So the first thing I did is I laid down this gold one, then I put another gold one on top of it to widen it out. And what it does more is it widens out the 918 more. And then on top of that, I lay down the green. And I come in and lay down. And even with this one, look, I'll show you. If I want to get more effect, I can push this over just an edge like that if I want to. And push it over just a little more. And it just makes it look three-dimensional, like it's lifted up off the car. And then even around the exhaust, whatever this tank is here on the side, and this tank here and the exhaust there, you see that? And I just put in squares to fill it in, and I made an oval around that to highlight it. Put a stripe here, and I even put a 918 Spider there. But you have to use your own creativity. But the thing I wanted to try to inspire you with is, don't think you have to spend a bunch of money upgrading cars. The only time I'll upgrade a car is if I have a idea for art design. Let me show you one of my favorites. It's a company that's in, I think they're out of Richmond, Virginia. Let's see if I can find them really quickly. These cars drive by so slow. This might be it right here. Yeah, so this is one of my favorites. This company here, I think it was founded in 1931. It's Estes Transportation. And so unless I have, and look at the back, there's a little E emblem here, and it's built up the same way as the rest of them. And I'll show you, I have all of these vinyls here. And so unless I have an inspiration for a design, I won't upgrade a car unless I totally have to, which is why I did the last car that I did in Pro, which on the Japanese production club, is Mazda RX-7, because when you do this cup race here at Silverstone for 6 laps, you have to fully upgrade the car in order to complete the series. And after I looked at the car, at first I was gonna put an emblem up there from this company, Marathon Oil, but I'm gonna save that for another car. And I said, well, since I've already got TAM Airlines and Japan Airlines courtesy car, I just picked another airline. And I rarely do a domestic United States Airlines. I typically will do international. I said, I'll go ahead and do another one. But that's the video that I have for you. And again, remember that you do not have to have a bunch of gold. All you have to have is a bunch of creativity.